We're in the short intro today. Hey, everybody, how's it going? Next Issue Podcast here. We're running a little behind, so I just did the short intro. I was debating whether to start with this.
Walker told me I had AIDS.
Well, he had to catch a break. He also ghosts and dead people, and nobody else knows it.
That clip should not make me laugh as much as it does. It's awful.
You are a terrible
Every
person.
time it gets me.
I hope when they rebooted Walker that they redid this episode word for word.
No, they haven't. They haven't.
Who would you cast now? I think maybe that kid from Young Sheldon would have been good.
Oh, yeah, that is
Yeah.
perfect casting.
Good
Oh,
idea.
No, too old now.
Yeah. When
Is
he
it
started,
is it just that episode that Walker gives out bad news, or does he go around and he's like, "Hey, you've got cancer," and he's
No,
just
no,
like
it's
giving
just that
everybody like, "Okay."
For some
Does he
reason-
spin kick the cancer?
No, he can't. That's one time he can't do anything about it.
He's not Chuck Norris. He's
Yeah, right.
Walker.
Yeah.
Chuck Norris
Damn.
would kill AIDS.
damn.
Oh, yeah.
All right, on today's episode, we're gonna talk about the comics beat. The beat put an article out about the rise and fall of Comixology.
Oh,
So we all have thoughts on that. We read the article. We'll talk about that at the top of the show, but we're gonna get into some stuff. And you know what? I'm gonna start this time because I got a lot of thoughts. And I've been doing a lot of interesting watches this week. Everything's been pretty good. First, I watched some of those, those variety actor videos they've been putting out all week.
Yeah.
I watched Cillian Murphy and Margot Robbie, and I also watched Anne Hathaway.
Mark Ruffalo.
And I haven't seen that one yet, but I watched Anne Hathaway and what's her name? Emily
Blunt.
Blunt. Yes, Emily Blunt. The Devil Wears Prada reunion. They are so much fun to watch. Like just two people, kind of. It's interesting. It's almost as if you're like sitting in a coffee shop and you're just eavesdropping on a conversation, but it's about two people that you know, but they don't know you, right? So, and then just kind of hear them. I think I really like the Margot Robbie and Cillian Murphy one because they had, two of the biggest movies this year. And then Anne Hathaway and Emily Blunt, like it was all like, oh yeah, we're gonna just talk about Devil Wears Prada because that was such a fun movie to make. So those are really good. There's a bunch more. I think I haven't seen the Mark Ruffalo, Robert Downey Jr. one. I've seen a few clips. There's an Emma Stone and Bradley Cooper one that dropped yesterday. So yeah, recommend those if you have. They're about an hour long, and like I said, they're just kind of conversational, and they're obviously there to promote their upcoming films. Like all those people have upcoming projects. I just also need to watch the Rachel Ziegler, Haley Bailey one with the Disney Princesses one. So that'll be real fun. I think they're probably two of the younger people talking in those conversations. So it's interesting to see two people that are just kind of starting their career. And even then, like there's so much talk about them already.
I mean, how many? Haley Bailey's got what? Little Mermaid, Color Purple. She's like starring at some big time.
Yeah, Haley Bailey
franchise.
that was her first. I think that was her first like big role. I don't know if she hadn't done something before, but the Little Mermaid, Color Purple isn't even out yet. So
all I'll say is the Little Mermaid was atrocious.
I haven't
Really?
seen it, so I wouldn't.
I don't do the live action ones at
You're
all.
being there.
It was on Disney Plus. I kind of skimmed through to watch different parts, and even every part I skipped on, I was like, this has no charm or anything of even close to what the
Yeah.
original does.
The only thing I saw is that she can sing.
Yeah,
And
that's
I was
not
like, okay,
It's not knocking her. It's just the film in general.
but that's about. Yeah, I know, and I'm not a big fan of Aquafina. I don't think she's very funny.
No.
I love Nora from Queens.
I liked the first season, and then I think it went too off the rails. So, but also speaking of Emma Stone, I've been watching that show on Showtime, The Curse, with Nathan Fielder.
Oh,
I hate that I'm watching that show because it's so uncomfortable to watch, but I can't stop myself from watching it. It's about these two like home renovator people that are trying to get a show on HGTV. Arms up, Josh. Arms up. They're trying to get a show on HGTV about these like environmentally friendly homes, but it's like in a community that maybe they shouldn't be messing about with. It's an underprivileged community, so like it is uncomfortable. But Emma Stone plays this like character of like the white savior so well. It's really, really interesting. Like I said, I don't know if I like it, but I know that I can't stop watching it. So
I like that she's all over the place again. I like Emma Stone, and I like that she's on the what's that movie that she's in?
Poor Things.
Yeah.
Oh God, that looks so uncomfortable.
Yeah, I don't want to. A lot of people have told me like I should go watch that in the theater, and I was like, no, I think that's a watch at home because I don't think that I'm gonna stick around for it. And it's nothing against the movie. I think it's just like it's just not my type of like Darren Aronofsky, like all that stuff, or like I don't know, like that feels a similar. It feels a similar vibe. That's not his film, but it's a similar vibe to me. It feels like, or what was it? Infinity Pool with what was
Mia Goth?
And but what's the name of the director? The son of the guy who did The Fly.
Oh, the Cronenberg.
Yeah. That's so reductive, but I'm sorry. That's the best way I could get it to you guys. There's always, I know, Leonard Kim. I'm trying to be very diplomatic in the show. And then I also started watching Fargo season 5,
and
it's so fucking good. Oh my god.
It never fails. Every season's pretty much a home run.
I've only watched season 1 and this one, but I saw that Keely from Ted Lasso is in it, and her Minnesota accent is so jarring to hear.
She's good.
Yeah, it's really
Juno
good.
Temple,
yeah. It's really, really good. It's just a good show. I'll probably go back. Now, question for all of you guys. So all these Fargo are supposed to be based on true stories?
Never seen any of them.
Like the movie?
I've heard that the movie set up a precedent where it was based on a true story, but that's fake. Like they wanted to give it the
okay, so that's just the thing they say.
I think so. Yeah, that's always been my impression. I don't know. Clay looks like I'm wrong.
No, I was just hearing echo.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I mean, I could be wrong, but I know
that's right.
Okay, because I was gonna say I know for a fact the movie is not based on a true story, but it was, and I just assumed that the seasons have kind of continued.
Gotcha. Okay, so they just say my point bringing that up was like, how much fucked up shit is going on in Minnesota or like in the north? Like, fuck, man, makes me never want.
Yeah, right.
I don't think that I ever go over there, especially in the winter. It seems miserable. And then to end it, to at least this section of the like movie stuff, I watched the new Studio Ghibli film, The Boy and the Heron.
Yeah, how is it?
Fuck, it's amazing. So this is the first Miyazaki film I've actually seen at the theater.
Oh right, yeah, okay.
Wow.
I don't even know what the last one they released.
Hey, to be fair, I've never seen any of them at the theater either.
How do you never see like Howl's Moving Castle or like?
No, but at the theater.
At the theater.
Yeah, I'm saying everything in the last 15 years. If it's made an American appearance, I saw it in the theater, either whether it be Miyazaki or Ghibli.
I know.
I've only seen them at home.
Yeah,
same. I didn't get into that.
Kyle's out. He's like, you sons of bitches.
I didn't get into those till very recently, Kyle. So yeah, no, I don't. I mean, I get it, but it's a fantastic film. I watched it in English and the dub cast. Like, I was surprised. Like, I knew a few people that were going to be doing voices, and then I think the coolest part was that they're like a lot of those people I didn't even recognize who they were until I saw the credits at the end.
Yeah, Hamill's in there.
Robert Pattinson is one of the voices. Dave Bautista is one of the voices.
Batman, Drax.
Karen Fukuhara.
Whether you're a fan of animated dubs, no matter whether it was Disney or another company, they've always done right with the dubbing of the Miyazaki stuff.
Oh yeah. From what I've seen, they always get like just very well-known names to do voice, not voice actors as opposed to like what you would expect them to do. So,
but I feel like. Oh, sorry, Kyle. Go ahead.
Go, Josh.
Well, but I feel like though, at least early on in that partnership, I always felt like Disney felt like they had to do that to make it palatable to an American audience, because anime was just something that wasn't widely accepted here, and I think we're well past that now. But I think at first that was just like a very intentional move. So
yeah. But yeah, I highly recommend it. I'll be doing a full review later on the channel. But man, like it's about 2 hours long. It's a really well paced. It's beautiful. It looks great. One thing I will say about these films, Miyazaki can do some really beautiful stuff, and then also some really grotesque stuff, like all in the same paint, like in the same brushstroke. It almost feels like. But I mean, I like that. No, I mean, like, yeah, anytime you see like there's a lot of bird imagery in this one, obviously because of the heron. But I will say this: I need to go watch a video about what the film was about, because as much as I enjoyed it, a lot of the themes were like.
Have you seen the documentary on Miyazaki?
I haven't seen it. No.
So probably good. Should. Yeah, because it was about like him ending and stopping, but of course, obviously he hasn't. But it's his thoughts on work and philosophy of life. It's amazing.
So I don't know what his future plans are. This film does feel like kind of him saying goodbye to making movies.
It might be. You never know.
So I mean, I wouldn't blame him if he finally like here it is, because I did read this is one of the more personal films to him. Like it's a lot of not his personal story. Obviously, it's put through the Ghibli lens, but yeah.
But didn't they say the same thing about the last one that was about World War II? And it was also very personal, and he said it was his last movie, and then now we have a new one.
Maybe it's like Fargo. It's like based on a true story.
right, exactly.
All the Miyazaki films are just personal last films. Hey, whatever sells the tickets, right? So, all right, that's gonna do it for me. Yeah, we'll come back for comics, but let me kick it off to Clay. You want to kick through a few things?
Yeah. Have any of you guys seen the documentary on Netflix, Love Has Won, about Mother God?
I saw TikTok explaining what it was, and I was like, I don't know.
It starts off horrific. It goes into the cult, and it ends with full-on body horror.
Oh man,
it is a wild trip. So the opening of the movie is from the police camera as they enter the compound of the Love Is God cult, and they're looking for Mother God and some children because they're doing a welfare check, and then they find her. And then they do, the record scratch, how did I get here kind of thing. They go back and they tell the origin of this, woman who was, kind of had it together. She was like one of the youngest managers at McDonald's who got her own store and took ecstasy and realized everything is fake. Love is real. And just started a cult and started hooking up with different guys who would be Father God, and she was Mother God. Did a lot of drugs, drank a lot, and then just kind of started coming up with these different ideas to make money. And one of the first Father Gods ran their website. One of the second one, I think, did their accounting, and started making money. And so she would just shop at Amazon and stuff. But it's a fascinating journey. I don't want to spoil anything for anyone who wants to check it out, but it is full on body horror in that last episode, man. And it is wild.
How long is it? How long is this?
I think it's 3 episodes, and I think they're about an hour a piece.
Okay.
Let me double check.
I did the right thing by consuming it in 2 minutes in TikTok.
Yeah, like I could full on spoil it for you if y'all want it.
No, I don't need that. I was not because they show like screenshots like for the progression, I guess.
Yeah,
and I was like, I could tell something was off, and then they explained what happened at the end, and I was like, oh my god. Well,
It's fascinating to see. Like the last documentary I watched was on twin flames and how that cult got started during the pandemic over Zoom. You could just pull people in with the promise of love. Same thing here. This woman would just she would just give unloved people attention, love, and they would just be like, you're God. Like that's all it really took. It was fascinating. I mean, next to the twin flame ones, those are the best two documentaries I've watched this year, just because it's fascinating to see how people who are offering hope are pretty much just full of shit these days, and it's a full-on scam.
Is it bad that my takeaway from this is that cults are pretty easy to start?
Oh, yeah, because they give you stats at the beginning of this one of how many cults are operating right now, and it's amazing.
Oh, my.
I had the same thought. I was like, they seem kind of fun at first, but then it sounds exhausting because then you have people always coming to you and being like, blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, I was in it just for the adulation at first, but now you guys want me to do stuff.
Right.
I'm out.
Let me pitch you guys this. Actually, I started a venture, but I've learned from the downfalls of those cults. So my organization is not a cult. It'll be different. All you have to do is give me some money. You guys are as my co-host. You guys are invited. All our viewers, subscribers are also invited. You just have to give me money.
And then if you bring in people, they give you money, and then you give money to Daniel.
That's right. That's right. Oh,
isn't this called Patreon?
Yeah.
That's right. Great segue. Plug our Patreon. Link will be in the description. Help us keep the lights on. Otherwise,
we can't promise that the Patreon will help you find love, but we can't not promise that also not.
Right. Yes. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's won't interfere.
Yeah.
We bless each donation we get.
Damn, I guess it might if like you were saving that last $5 to take somebody out to dinner.
Oh.
Anyway, no promises here. Go ahead, Clay. Continue, please. But John, support our Patreon. Bye.
The terminology that the cults use is fascinating too, because it was weird when the people in the Mother God documentary would start talking about their twin flame. So there's this overlap of dialogue that the cults use.
You can't put your peanut butter in my chocolate.
Exactly. The next documentary I watched is the polar opposite. It was so boring.
One last thing. What do you think the most number of cults one individual's been on? Like at the same, like concurrently, at the same time.
Oh my god, that would just be a great comedy. A guy who just keeps joining cults.
Lifetime, like a cult fails, and then they move on to the next one.
I feel like that's more likely than concurrently, because the whole idea of a cult is you're all in, right?
Yeah, like you're one of these people that really need the attention. So sorry,
you got to shop it around.
All right.
I'm not meeting my needs fully, even though I've been branded and I've run around naked already. I need to.
It's also, what's the purpose of the cult? It could be like, am I getting abducted by aliens at the end of this?
Right.
Am I going to find my twin flame? Am I going to? You don't know what you want. Am I going to get a bunch of money? Each cult offers a different. What's the point system?
Yeah, you know how we solve this? We need to bring back third places so people have a place to go and meet and be a community without having to like pay money. Right? We need places where people can just socially gather, and that'll be more helpful. And although that could be a good place to start a cult, because
that's what church
have a lot of people get together.
Or I was going to say we had this in the 80s and 90s. It's called the Mall. And it was amazing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, because there's I've seen a lot of videos of like those third places kind of going away. Like they don't, like unless it's monetized, you don't really have another place to go outside of work and home. And then a lot of people are working from home, so they just have that one place to be all the time. But anyway, we'll save that for our political channel. What else? Outside of these cults that you're shopping around for, I guess.
Yeah,
that other channel is also called Next Issue Podcast.
Next Issue Podcast.
Brilliant! I love it.
Now I'm just thinking of a show like there are moments in these documentaries where the people who realize they're in a cult, and it's just like the light turns on. Like I want to write a story about a guy who keeps joining cults, but like discovers right before the bad part, like he's late to the Kool-Aid party in Jonestown. You see him go to he goes to the grocery store in Waco, but he keeps driving because he's like, man, this guy's not right.
So he's like the God damn it, what is that Woody Allen movie where he shows up at all the historical moments? It starts with a Z.
Oh,
Forrest
Zeitgeist.
Gump.
Yeah,
Yes,
it is
Forrest
also
Gump.
Forrest Gump. Yeah, yeah. So it's like that with cults. So
Yeah.
yeah.
But then I watched a polar opposite documentary. I forgot it was on. It was so boring, and it has such the coolest concept. It's called Squaring the Circle. It's about the cover art for albums and the guy who created like Beatles and Dark Side of the Moon and like a lot of Pink Floyd stuff. But it is presented in such a dull way. Like I was like, oh yeah, this is on, you know. And they're going through the covers and talking to Paul McCartney about like if they would put a cover together, if a band didn't buy it, it would end up in another band. So a lot of them were just, you know, pivoting to try to get a really great album.
Mhm.
But it was so dull in the way it was presented. I was kind of like, you know, maybe someone might get more out of it than I did. I don't know.
From the name, I thought it might be wrestling. one.
Yeah, I know.
Primal, Nick Cage. I thought this movie was from like 2006 from the CGI that's in it. No, it's from 2019.
Oh my.
Yeah, that's what we're dealing with. Nick Cage is a big game hunter who has captured a white cheetah and now has to travel on this ship that also is carrying a killer. And the FBI or the international agents have taken this guy in. He outdoes Nicolas Cage. He goes full Nick Cage, and I forget the guy that plays the killer in the movie, but he's a character actor. I've seen him in Lost. He was actually the guy who played Blob in Wolverine Origins.
Swamp Thing.
Yeah. And so it was really such a bummer that it was like the CGI would take you out of it. And you've seen this plot before. It's just really bad. But it was like, you know, of course, the killer escapes on the boat. So does all the animals that he's taken in. So now Nicolas Cage has to save us all. Probably a 6 on the Nicolas Cage scale, but a 10 for the villain. He was top notch.
The worst thing that happened to CGI was that it got better, so people knew that you could do it better.
The CGI is bad. Like it opens up with the CGI of him catching this thing, and it's like full on Cage acting by himself because you could tell that this thing is not there and just looks awful. The season of Dragula. Anyone watches Dragula? Am I the only one? It's like. It's drag, but done by the Boulet brothers. So it has like horror and filth in it. And so they are given concepts and put stuff together. And so they had like an interplanetary sex worker this week was the concept. So you just see some wild stuff. But I have to throw out my favorite person on the show because they have the best name of all the drag stars, Throb Zombie.
I was gonna ask you if they at least used the song.
No,
probably.
No, but yeah, it's worth checking out. It's on Shudder, and I believe they had a couple of seasons they did on YouTube before Shudder picked them up. And I finally got to watch Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Yeah,
way too long. Way too.
It is
long.
a little long. Yeah,
but.
It
didn't have Shia LaBeouf in it, so yay.
I'll just ask this: did you like what happened at the end, or were you on board or not? Because I think that's the most divisive part of that film. When did you watch this, Clay?
Like 2 days ago.
You've had 2 full days, then you're still don't know if you enjoyed the film. I like that.
I mean, it was just, I remember going, man, this is like 4 hours. This is just a lot of fan service. And it really isn't. It is a lot of great action pieces, but like we only see two people return from the past films. Yeah, they reference one person and what happened to them.
Right.
But all in all, like I figured like at 2 hours and I think 47 minutes, we would have gotten more fan service than than that because it was him going out. But you get the de-aging at the beginning of the film, and then it's immediately they shock your system by showing what Harrison Ford looks like in his boxers.
Yeah.
Like, this is an old man. And then they proceed to take you through his adventures of just, riding a horse through downtown, doing all these incredible stunts. And it's like, that guy would have fallen. He would have broken a hip.
He's got
He
one
would have
last
been
ride
out.
in him.
One last ride.
I feel like the chase scene where they're on that little bicycle cart thing, it was nail biting when I watched it. I mean, there was like moments where like his feet barely missed the car and stuff. I was like, good God, And so it reminded me more of like the minecart sequence from the second movie, So I feel like there are all these callbacks without it being in your face. Like, look what we're doing again, which is Abrams on Star Wars 7, but anyway.
Oh,
Yeah.
When I watched it, I had just seen the first 4, so like I was all high on Indy. Like by the time I got to it, so
I will say I didn't mind the thing at the end that you're talking about. Like to me, why not enjoy that and have that in the movie? I mean, how far is it going to take you out of it? I don't feel like it really did. Mads is great. He's a great villain. I really had a hard time believing that what's his name? The actor Toby
Bell. Toby.
Yeah, he had a daughter that was like
right. How tall is his wife?
You don't know what is. Yeah, I mean, recessive genes are a thing, right?
They are. But here's the other thing. Then you start imagining how like she got made, and it just gets weird. So
Hey, you know what? Good for him. Get you a tall woman.
he used Arnim Zola's science to breed a
Also,
super tall woman.
Yeah, I was gonna say when people get older, they get shorter. But you saw him when he was younger, and he was also short. So never mind.
Yeah,
There
sure.
goes that theory.
but we haven't seen him when he was a teenager, so
That's right.
Yeah, that was all the new stuff I've watched. I've revisited a lot of old stuff, but I promise you, the best music video that's a movie is the Suicide Squad, because you could just put that on, and all the great songs that play through that, you could just have that, and it's a great
316.
playlist.
I agree.
Wouldn't it just be better to just put the soundtrack on? So,
But then
Cool.
you don't get to see King Nanaue. As he
Then
goes
you don't
like,
get to
nom
stop.
nom.
Impress everyone in jail.
all right.
that's a good list. I've seen lists like that, like who has the best soundtrack. Because, like, yeah,
It
Forrest
would be
Gump.
hard to, as far as a comic book movie, I don't think there's a better soundtrack than Suicide Squad.
Maybe
Suicide
maybe
Squad.
one of the Guardians.
Go to the Guardians of the Galaxies.
It's a James Gunn soundtrack, regardless. I think. So.
Yeah.
James Gunn wins out. Not the Guardians, not Suicide Squad. James Gunn wins out.
Yeah. Yeah.
James Gunn's Zune wins out.
Do you?
Oh wait, you
incredible soundtrack for Superman Legacy.
Oh God.
Well, you know what? Let's make a playlist. We'll do that later on. We'll build a playlist.
Oh,
I don't use Spotify, but I'll get the free version just to put it
Did
together.
you guys read the most recent news about who he cast for DC Universe?
yeah, Max Lord.
Yeah, Sean Gunn's gonna play Max Lord.
I find it very weird. But again, if we get a Keith Giffen style Justice League out of it,
Yeah,
I'm fully in.
I'm expecting it with a casting early on of Fillion playing.
Yeah, it's because
Yeah.
Pedro's busy.
Guy
He's going to
Gardner.
be playing Guy Gardner, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
Guy Gardner.
Yes.
That's right. Yeah.
So
I also think of like Gunn playing Kurt, like in Gilmore Girls, like when that character was a bit more serious, and I'm like, then I can kind of see it.
Yeah. I can see that.
I've never seen Gilmore Girls, so we're gonna move on to Josh. I know the guy from Supernatural was in it. Jared Padalecki was in it, so maybe I should watch it. But Josh,
I do not have a lot. This was finals week, so I've been super, super busy. But I know that Kyle gets it.
Yeah, but no, you were lucky. Yours is over. I've still got high school and college next week.
Well, I am teaching an online class over the break, so I've got to check.
Kyle's doing the Billy Madison and just going through all the grades again. So He's got to get through
Almost,
high school and
almost.
college in the next week.
Almost.
Oh, Veronica Vaughn. Want to touch the hiney.
Just don't fight the penguin on the public plaza, right? That'll get you expelled.
So anyway, so I haven't picked up my comics this week, and I haven't really watched a lot. I will say we finally finished watching Bad Sisters, which is incredible. It's so good, and it kind of makes me want to go back. I know I've talked about it on here before, but did anyone else here watch the Netflix Dracula series?
I don't remember it, but I saw it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I
So,
watched a little bit of it. It's fuzzy back there.
yeah, so the husband, the bad guy in Bad Sisters, plays Dracula in it, and it's created by the same duo that created Sherlock. So it's Stephen Moffat and the guy from League of Gentlemen who plays Mycroft. God damn it. Plays
it's the BBC thing. That's why. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it has that same sort of structure where it's a show. Yes, thank you, Mark Addis. It's a show, but each episode's like 90 minutes. It's basically a movie, and there's only 3 episodes. So it's structured just like a season of Sherlock.
Yeah.
And oh man, he is, God, what's his name? Klaus Bong?
I don't know.
Anyway, he is so good in that. And he's also really good in Bad Sisters, playing this utter asshole of a husband. Anyway, so watch that. Because that is done, my daughter and I have, and Jen, to a certain degree, have finally gone back to our...
You guys don't let your wife in the room. Get out of here.
Well, no, she's just not as big a fan as we are, because we've gone back to our nightly watching of Doctor Who. I kind of wanted to just jump to the new stuff, but Hazel, understandably, is insisting on kind of like watching everything. So we had just started the Capaldi run when we stopped watching them, and jumping right back in. And man, they are really hit or miss. There are some like fantastic episodes, and there are some you're just like, wow, that was not good. So probably shouldn't have started with the Robin Hood one, which weirdly is also by Mark Addis, but he's usually pretty solid. Anyway,
I stopped watching with Capaldi.
What?
I stopped watching with Capaldi.
Did you?
Yeah, I just couldn't get into it anymore.
I got halfway, like, it'll be weird because I got halfway through the first season with Bill, who was the companion that replaced Clara, and I really like Bill. And so I don't remember why I dropped off. It wasn't really... I like Capaldi as the Doctor, and then I jumped back in with the first 2 or 3 with... oh my God. The last Doctor, the first female Doctor.
Yeah. I didn't see any of hers either.
I like them, but I could kind of tell that with the new showrunner, it had a different feel, and that is nothing to do with the cast or the actors. It was just the way that Chibnall was approaching it. So I don't know what we're gonna do when we get to those. We might just suffer through them. I know there's a big contentious.
Reading the comics.
Yeah. Oh shit. Good point. Anyway, but I'm really hyped to finally get to the new stuff because I've been hearing it's amazing, and I want to see NPH as Celestial Toymaker. So, and then it just dawned on me. So the only other thing, this is not on the show notes, we finished watching New Girl. Okay. And man, that last season, it's way too short. And we got through what is the last episode and didn't realize, because there was one more left. And we thought there was one more. And then my wife's like, she read the description. She's like, it's a clip show. And I'm like, God damn it. Who does this? Like, you know? So, I mean, I guess it kind of ends on a fine note. And it's very weird. It felt incredibly rushed. But now our nightly viewing, Clay will appreciate this, is spaced. And we're 2 episodes in. Jen and I have seen all of it. We love it, but it's funny. I don't think it's really clicking with Hazel, and I think the reason why is it's very Gen X. Like it is a Gen X show, and so I'll be kind of intrigued to see how she responds as we keep going. So because we're only 2 in, so we just got to the party episode where they throw the terrible party.
How many would you be like? What do you think should be like? Dad, we got to pick something else. And then you'd be like, okay, I guess you've seen enough to know that.
I think if we get to the end of the first season and she says that, then that'll be okay. Although there's a lot in season 2 that you gotta.
Yeah, you got the dog rescue episode. I think is a great episode. I mean, really, the end of the series is fantastic.
The end is great. The finger guns episode is my favorite, and that's season 2. I mean, and I had forgotten they set that up in Mike's first appearance, which was last night. I totally forgotten that. So
I mean, if anything keeps her in, it should be Nick Frost. He rocks in that.
And they did the first flashback of them as kids, and the little kid has his mustache, and I lose it every time. There's just something about a kid sitting in a tree with a full mustache. It just cracks me up. So
hey, I fully believe Wilford Brimley was born with a mustache.
All right, here's a terrifying thing. All right, and I say this as someone who recently turned 48. Go look at how old Wilford Brimley was in Cocoon. It's not as old as you think.
Well, I just watched him in 10 to Midnight, which was in 82, and he still looked old.
I think the only time I ever thought he looked young was in The Thing.
He still looked old there.
I mean, sorry, my dog.
Yeah.
Dogs disagree. Sorry. All right. Well, good thing Josh was at an end of his notes. Kyle, let's jump to you, and then I think we might have some crossover, Jeff and I, with your stuff. So go through it, and then Jeff, feel free to jump in if you hear anything that's also on your list.
Watching, I read Iron Man, most recent Iron Man, where basically it's Tony.
If there's a big spoiler, don't say it because I haven't read it.
Well, it's basically them trying to go up to what's the organization called?
Nice.
To basically steal back. Oh no, they go into space and get all of the metal that was from Krakoa, so they could build these like ships to take on Orcus, and then they bring in. It's not really spoiler. They basically hire.
I know Star Fox is in it. Yeah.
Oh god. Yeah. Oh yeah. And very pretty Star Fox. At one point when he's drawn, I was like, "Wait, did he have a sex change?"
Yeah, they really changed his look up in Judgment Day.
Yeah. So yeah, it like has all these earrings, and everything. But basically, he brings down a couple of Skrulls to take their place. And when they come back, they realize that the Skrulls actually did better jobs playing Tony and Emma than they actually did. And but the best part is basically they have Ironheart in the ship. She's trying to go out to make it to the planet where all the X-Men are now. Mars, X-Mars.
Morocco, yeah.
Yeah, Morocco. And the plan is for Tony, her, and Forge to use the metal to make the ships they need, because it's going to be all the superheroes and mutants basically taking back Earth. And so she ends up meeting up with Forge, and they get into like this kind of geek talk. And then out of the blue, this fucking space dragon appears, and he goes, "Human, I sense what you call the 10 rings of the Mandarin on you. It's like I want those back now." And then Forge goes, "What are you talking about? But there's no rings here." And then all Ironheart goes, and then Forge is like, "Ah, shit."
Nice.
So as of last issue, I didn't even know Riri had the rings.
Neither did I.
I don't know where she got them from. Like I was just like, okay, we're gonna roll with this, sure.
I think that happened in the last Iron Man series, where the Mandarin came in as a villain, and then Riri ended up keeping the rings because she didn't trust anybody else with them. And then Tony was like, "Okay, well, I trust you with them," so or something.
Well, and that's the thing. Tony mentions he's like, I wonder. It's all thought process, but I wonder if half the reason I sent Ironheart out to go find the X-Men is because I don't want to have to try to fight 2 battles in one front. But he's not sure if her keeping the rings is the thing.
Yeah.
So, next one I read was Amazing Spider-Man number 6, or no, that's right, Volume 6, number 36. It's basically him in the gang war, like all of New York. I'm not even just saying about all like Manhattan. It's like the boroughs are all into like all the gang members. Like Hobgoblin's a gang member. Fucking
Wow.
yeah, like everybody. And so they're fighting. So he tries to put. So he's gotten sort of leniency from Luke Cage to put together a band of heroes to be able to take him down and not have any problems with the cops. He goes, okay, so you have legal status to be like agents. So he's put together Spider-Woman, Miles, She-Hulk, and Elektra Daredevil. And they go down and take down this one firefight, but then they realize there's other stuff happening. So Daredevil, Spider-Woman, and Miles go out to take do other parts. And so it's She-Hulk and Spider-Man trying to take down. Like apparently there's like an underground area where these monsters have become like are living in peace, but they want to take out like become mob, like take control of the city too. So it's one of these funny things where basically they She-Hulk and Spidey go to fight them, and all you see She-Hulk's like, "Are you standing behind me?" No, I'm not standing behind me. And Spidey's holding this pipe, and he goes, You're standing behind me?" No, I'm not standing behind you. It's okay, fine. I'll get in get in this whole mess, and so he finally jumps in, and then it comes to the fact that like Spidey's on like earpiece talking to Luke, and She-Hulk's, "Are you going to tell me you're standing behind me the whole time?" No, let's not talk about that. But what's interesting is if you read there's another Spider-Man comic out where it started off with like the end of the Spider-Verse with like 6 issues, and there was like this insect they were trying to take out like the Spider-Verse characters, and they use this knife to basically erase Jessica and then actually Peter from all of history. They bring them back, but when Jessica gets brought back, and I'm reading the current because they're tying in with the gang where they're tying in Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and Miles Morales are going to have single issues too.
Jessica Drew.
Sorry. That basically she's missing something, and you realize her baby's missing, and you're not sure because she was erased from her history if that baby's been erased from history. So she's like trying to figure out, and she's going after Diamondback. So she got
it was all in this one big one shot where the whole reason the gang war's happening is because a wedding was interrupted.
Yeah,
it's very Godfather.
I was going to say, yeah.
It was Tombstone's daughter and Robinson's son were supposed to get married, but then they get interrupted. And this has turned out to be a lot of fun, so I'm enjoying this one.
If you want to read all of this stuff, like
Marvel's
got you covered.
Oh my god!
This is one time. Oh no!
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't do that. That was the Mac is telling you.
Finally, AI's working properly. I love it.
Thanks, Siri.
This is one time when I'm willing to go through all these issues. I want to see where this goes. I'm having some fun with this one.
It looks interesting, but man, I just do not enjoy Romita's art at the moment. So
I love it.
Oh, really? It seems like that would be a great fit.
I'm with Danny on this. There was a point where JR Jr. was one of my favorite Spidey artists, and just looking through the current stuff, it's awful.
And I think it's because I don't know that this is the cause, but when I reread the Captain America Remender run where Romita was in it, when Scott Hanna was inking him, I didn't really enjoy those issues, and Scott Hanna has been inking him recently.
Oh.
But when Klaus Janson was inking him in those issues, I was like, "Oh, this looks fucking amazing." So I think it's the inks that are different.
I can see that, and I think Janson is a better fit for his style.
I mean, Janson's also a big reason why we all love Frank Miller stuff.
Right,
oh, definitely.
Yeah. And he's a great artist in his own right. If you track him, he did like fill-in art on some he's a Daredevil and Moon Knight in the 80s.
He did a little backup story in the the Blue Book, like the UFO book. Yeah. So anyway, sorry, Kyle. Go ahead.
Okay. So I wanted like something I'm pretty sure you guys talked about last week, but I saw it 2 weeks ago with Godzilla -1. Greatest fucking film of the year, in my opinion.
Dude,
I've heard nothing but great.
Okay,
me too. I gotta go see this.
Fucking guy.
Question for you, Kyle, because you've seen a lot more Godzilla films than I have.
Oh no, I'm reading everything, and there's nothing wrong with the film. Not one fucking piece. Like
I said, this is probably the best Godzilla movie ever.
No, it is, and that's even putting over 54 Godzilla. I mean, this is a movie that like even the characters, like the humans, are like it's like you get drawn into the story. It's like about PTSD and just Godzilla and the way, and even Godzilla himself, the way they do him. Like, I mean, he's got a better. They actually show it to where like. He can sort of be hurt, but he has this regeneration factor that makes Wolverine's healing factor look like wimpy. It's like, I mean,
yeah,
this is amazing. Like, there's one scene, and they've done a clip of it, basically. So it's like it's set 2 years after World War II ends, And the reason they call it -1 is because Japan is at like just a dead zone. They can't be any lower than they're at dead zero. So Godzilla coming in to terrorize them is basically, well, we just went -1 at -0, so it's like okay. But they're trying to like people are trying to have jobs, and they have these wooden boats that have artillery guns they're using to basically clear up the minefields that are around Japan. And the wooden boats won't attract the magnets that are part on some of the mines. So they have a couple mines. I did realize some creature has destroyed ships. And then Godzilla comes up and starts chasing them. And so they basically let one of the mines go in his mouth, and they're able to shoot it, and the thing explodes in its head. And so you see just him stop swimming, and he's kind of like dead there on the thing. But then you see his whole body just regenerate right there, and his eyes light up, and he's like, and just.
It's really good. It looks good. It only had a budget of 15 million, which
I
is
know.
insane.
What? Wow, that's amazing.
And
The
the
score-
indie film.
Yeah.
I won't say I won't say when, but when the score hits, when the Godzilla score hits,
Oh my god.
oh man, oh yeah, it's so good. You guys should go.
It's funny, and I didn't realize I was doing it, but I went with a group of friends, and my friend Robbie goes, you know, when as soon as the original thing hits,
Yeah.
he says he looks over me and he sees me just kind of going with the beat of the song. And
Kyle started stomping around in the theater.
I might have to go see this like on
I'm glad you like
Monday.
It's got the extended run now because of how well
You
it's
got an
done.
extended
Good.
See
run.
it on the big screen. You have to.
It's now the most lucrative live action film in Japan ever.
Wow.
So yeah, big business, big boy back in town.
You know what? Props to them, because again, here's the thing. How often do we like? I just want new shit, right? And when you think about how often they're just remaking old stuff, this is a great example of this isn't a remake. It's not a redo. It is an original story with known IP, and it's good. Yeah. And it's just give us more of this, you know?
What I love about this is, you know, we have Monarch on Apple TV. They just released a trailer for the new Kong X, you know, new thing. And I read an article where basically the people who are the creative team on Godzilla, American Godzilla, says, I wish we could do a Godzilla story like this.
Wow.
So, yeah.
And see, that's great because I just watched Godzilla King of the Monsters, and I hate the human storyline in that one. I do not care about those people at all. I was hoping they would be squashed.
The only MonsterVerse film that actually has where you kind of get into the characters is Skull Island.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Let's move over to Jeff. We'll come back around and do a quick run for everybody else to kind of finish up. But Jeff, what do you got going on?
So I watched the movie Violent Night earlier this week. David Harbour as Santa Claus. I'd actually not seen it up until this week. It's fantastic. It's great. Super violent, super entertaining. David Harbour plays a wonderful Santa Claus. And I also back to back. So right before I had just finished Miracle on 34th Street. In my head, it's canon that it's the same Santa Claus, like the original, the 19, the black and white version.
Okay.
That's
so in my head, I was like, it's the same guy. It's got to be the same guy. So,
it's a sequel.
It's a sequel. Yeah, and I'm gonna watch them back to back every year from here on out. So
nice,
perfect.
Yeah. In my head, that'll be the Santa Claus 1 and 2. So. Last night I went to go see some stand-up comedy, and I went and saw Christelle Alonso. Are you guys familiar with her?
No.
She's got a show. She's got a stand-up special on Netflix. She had a television show for a little bit. She is super funny. She's a lot of her. She's just kind of a, story of life, kind of like stand-up comedian. She's Latina, so she has a lot of like growing up in South Texas kind of jokes and stuff like that.
Where'd you see her?
Addison
Improv.
Improv. Yeah.
Mm.
There she is.
Okay.
I remember the show. I remember watching the show. Maybe
I didn't know if she had a show.
Oh.
Yeah, she had a show on like ABC or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I saw her. And she does have a special on Netflix, and I would recommend. that if you guys like stand-up. I enjoy stand-up.
Yeah.
Comic book wise, I read the Creep Show Christmas special.
I
That was
also
great.
picked that up.
The first story in here is fantastic. It's got this great art. It almost looks like Sam Keith. It's about this family that they're teasing their little sister. She's watching holiday specials. They want to watch a football game, and so they tell her the story about. They make up this monster where if she's not a good little girl, the monster will come and eat her toes. And she spins the story back around on them. So, and then the second story is about people that steal packages off of front doorsteps and how that catches up with them. Porch pirates. Anyway, classic creep show, creepy stories. It's a really good book.
All right.
Little one shot. I also read the Batman
Yes.
Santa Claus Silent
Yes.
Night.
Yes.
I got there's an alt cover for this that I picked up, but it's across the room. I'm not gonna go get it.
Is
But
it the
this
one, the Dark Knight homage?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I had to pick up that one. That was
I'll pull it
too
up.
funny.
This book is amazing.
This book is great. I love this book. We learned that Batman knows Santa Claus.
Apparently trained under Santa
Yeah.
Claus.
He might have trained under Santa Claus
Yeah,
for a little
he is
bit.
going to be pissed though when he finds his file on Batman's computer about how to.
They do a really charming thing where Santa Claus, every time he meets someone, he says your name and your address, like your address growing up. It's
That's
really
awesome.
cool. So here's the covers real quick.
That's the cover A.
Satana shows up, which is cool. That's what
Oh,
she's
yeah.
getting.
We love Zatanna.
This one's so. This one was. So
This
much
is a great
fun.
cover.
Oh, that's so
And-
good.
I wish
Yeah.
I'd picked up this cover. I did not pick up this cover. This
Man.
is a scratch and sniff cover. So if you
Oh,
scratch Santa's teeth, it smells like peppermint, apparently.
Here.
oh, that's
Yeah.
vile. Who
Oh,
thought
yeah,
that
it smells
was-
very good.
Yeah.
That's a scratch and sniff cover. And this, I
This
think
is
this was
David. This is the Violent Night cover.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Boy, that's
And then of course, then more. He's done Klaus with Grant Morrison, but this feels a lot like that.
Yeah.
Right.
And this is like a 3-issue miniseries, and I'm sure
6.
that you're going to see.
It's one of 6 in the corner.
Oh, does it?
Oh, that was the images. It's 4 issues. That was
Oh.
the images.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sorry.
But I'm sure they're going to run the gamut of a whole bunch of different.
See, I thought this was gonna be the
superhero
holiday
things.
special for the year, but it's not.
huh.
This is completely different.
Yeah,
So,
this is
very
completely
cool,
different.
though.
This is its
I
own
love
little
it.
thing. And then finally, I picked up the final issue of Miss Marvel for this little mini
That's right.
series.
Oh yeah.
It was
Vellani's coming back though. Then the next
Yeah,
we're gonna do
so
another
they're-
little series.
yeah. This kind of feels like we gave her 4 issues to test it out and kind of
Mhm.
feel how it goes. This is the whole story. All in all, is just it's a cute little story, but there's not really much that happens, honestly.
It feels like, you know what, with Iman Vellani's name, we can sell a trade with only 4 issues in it.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it does
we'll
feel
just-
like, honestly.
We'll just do another one.
Yeah,
Wait,
Miss
she
Marvel
wrote
goes to school.
She co-wrote it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She
Okay,
co-wrote
cool.
But it's a solid 4-issue little mini. The artwork's great in it. She solves a
All right.
mystery, I guess, sort of.
And Jeff and I have a surprise for you guys. We're gonna unbag our things, but we'll do that before we jump into a review. These are the roar covers for Godzilla and Kong. So we'll do those in a second. Let's go through. Let me show you guys my comics real quick for the week, and then we'll touch back with Clay and Kyle before doing that. There's a lot to unpack this, but good week in comics. Birds of Prey continues to be kick-ass.
Yeah,
I love this book so much. So good.
I read that too.
It's my favorite
Uh,
book, I think, right now.
It's really good. I think World's Finest is my favorite ongoing right now, but
Oh, yeah.
this one's also very good. I love what they're doing. Like the team is just fantastic on this. Blue Beetle number 4. Batman Mind Bomb, the new story continues. So I got this cover and the computer cool cover. Yeah.
There was a Christmas cover for that, a holiday variant for that one as well. With
Yeah,
Robin
I didn't.
and-
So I didn't want to start picking up those variants or even the greeting card variants because if I pick one up, then I'm gonna have to get them all. They also reprinted the Batman Year One, which I had to get. Like,
Yeah, that was on my list too.
and they also reprinted a facsimile of Batman #5. I got the foil variant for Batman #5.
Now, what's important about that issue? I couldn't figure it out. It's the first appearance of someone, I thought.
It's a Batman book. I don't know. That's what makes it important to me. That's what makes it important to me, Josh.
Okay,
I don't know what makes it
that's
important to
fair.
you.
That's fair.
It was the fifth
I'll
one.
check. I'm sure they reprinted it for a reason. Thunderbolts #1. I really like this.
Who's
yeah,
writing that?
Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly. So the same team that's doing Guardians.
Are they just taking over every book?
Didn't they do
Seems like it.
They did the last Captain America series with
Yep.
both of them, right?
This
They're
is
on
kind of a
Guardians?
follow up to that. This is kind of
Oh
a follow up
fuck,
to
is
that.
it?
Yeah.
God, don't tell me
Yeah.
that. Damn it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I have to. The revolution continues, Josh.
Mm,
Of
that's
course,
fair.
Transformers.
No,
So
like,
badass. I put this on the drive, so if you guys want to read the review,
Yes,
but
please.
man, it's so good, so freaking good. I've never.
There's
liked
the best
Transformers.
moment in that book is
I think I'm going to show you the best moment.
oh, look at that. That's
Oh,
awesome.
shit.
So cool. So cool. I love it. There's a new Sentry book. The Sentry died when Null killed him back in the Kingdom Black.
Yeah.
So I didn't remember that when I read this.
I thought that she got all the way back in like when Thor fried him after he ripped out.
No. He came back. Yeah, he came back, and then Null killed him. But people have been random people have been showing they've been sprouting Sentry powers. And then there's one person that's trying to hunt them all down, I guess, to maybe gather all the power. It's very interesting. Jessica Jones and Misty Knight are investigating that. So yeah, I like it. It's fun. I'm sure this is how they're gonna end up bringing back the Sentry at some point. But for now, I'm just
Is it going to be
enjoy
like a Captain Planet thing where with their powers combined?
That's what I
they
was
can-
thinking. That's what I was thinking.
It's like a weird Shazam-y Captain Planet kind of thing.
Yeah. So, and then of course the Hellboy Winter Special. I had to get the Magnolia cover. It's called
yeah.
the Yule Cat. I haven't read it, but no, I did read it. Yeah. Sorry, I was talking about the other.
It was so good, you forgot he read it.
I read Hellboy every once in a while, so I never know which ones, but it's very cool. I love it. It's about mythology in Iceland. That's where the Yule Cat's from. So I wasn't very familiar. And then of course the book we reviewed last week, Our Bones Dust. I picked up the Magnolia cover.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Oh,
So
great.
very cool. So we'll reveal these in a second, but let me pass it back to Clay. You want to run through the rest of these stuff real quick?
Yeah, I find it really hard to get into Warhammer. There's just so much content out there, but I am playing a couple of games on old Warhammer Chaos and Conquest. And
I saw you start that last night when you jumped in. So
yeah, it. But I am playing one on my tablet that's Tacticus, which is more of a strategy type game. The other one's more of allocating resources and stuff. I just want to get into kind of the lore and stuff. And Shelby says that the Warhammer books are books that just come in and go out at Half Price Books constantly. They hold their value or go up because people constantly are picking them up. So it's even hard to find just the books that have the lore.
I
was gonna say it depends on what Henry Cavill's doing.
Oh yeah.
Clay, if you're interested, I have from some Humble Bundles a bunch of the novels as ebooks and audiobooks, so I can share those with you. They're I haven't gotten through a lot of them, but they're good.
Yeah, I would like to at least kind of find out some of the history. I mean, getting to play them shows some of the factions and stuff, so that's nice.
Yeah,
but really, I want to have a deeper learning of it, and I would love to play the tabletop at some point. But it's again, Warhammer is
that's a money pit, man.
Yeah, exactly. That's what Shelby's like. If you get involved in that, that's big money, big time.
And
just the minis alone.
And you might be interested in my recommendation at the end of the show today. So
Oh, okay. Picked up a couple of books from the library. I'm finally gonna. Has anyone read the Jack Kirby?
I need to. I want to.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, he does point out that this is like told from a Jack Kirby POV, but it's essentially like drawn from concepts. This is not a Marvel book. This is not endorsed by the Kirby family at all. This guy has done this completely independent of his own. John Scalzi, some of you may have read. Shelby read Old Man 4, and I believe there's a Humble bundle of his books out there this week too. So
Yes, yeah, there is.
One of the movies I watched this week was My Name is Dolomite, which is the history. I've talked Dolomite, I think, the last couple of weekends. We're even talking about it on my next podcast with Mark. So Shelby tracked down the Dolomite box set that is Rudy Ray Moore, all his movies, concert footage. I mean, it's just an awesome set of stuff. I know Vinegar Syndrome's put one out recently that has a few more special features, but this is fantastic and fucking great. And then last night we broke out the Steelbook, watched some Howard the Duck.
I need to rewatch that again. It's on my Plex. I just haven't gotten around to it.
But yeah, like that's pretty much what I've been up to. I rewatched a bunch of other stuff, but yeah, I haven't been to the comic shops. I haven't been able to read much. And just I've had like a lot of physical therapy appointments and things just keeping me busy. So that's what I got.
All right, Kali, do you have any other things you wanted to go over on your list?
Just the one. I don't know if anybody else has been watching it, but I've been watching. I haven't watched the third one yet, but I've been watching the new Doctor Who specials with Tennant.
Disney stuff?
Don't spoil anything for me.
Guess what? Tennant's back.
Okay. I don't understand that only a few people have played the Doctor, but they bring him back. Is the state of the Doctor Who fandom that poor that they have to bring him back already?
Okay. First off, what's your problem with them bringing him back? He's the best Doctor.
I think they had to repair a bit from the Chibnall run, but he's not the permanent Doctor. He's only here for these 3 specials, and then the new Doctor.
And the thing is, they even question, like he said, I'm not sure why I have this face again. So there's something going on. But they also come back and let's just say that they fix. We get a full blown Donna Doctor relationship back again for these 3 episodes, and it's the third one that Neil Patrick Harris plays. I think he's named the toy maker, but he's a character from the 1960s.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Here's another problem I have. The Donna Doctor storyline wrapped up so well. When you reopen that, it just kind of erases that.
I don't think it wrapped up well at all, and I feel like I'm again. I haven't watched him yet, but I'm fully suspecting that this is Davies trying to rectify how that ended. Is it? Okay.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. But I will say that, and this, I'm just going to throw this out. It's a slight spoiler, but it's not going to turn anyone from the story. So the last episode so the last episode where you have Donna's grandfather, basically companions with Tennant. So he died this year, but they actually were able to film a small cameo, so the Doctor actually gets to see him again one last time in the second episode. So it's like, that just warmed my heart right there.
Oh,
wow. The man's in his 90s, and he comes out and they actually see him, and it's just like, okay, that was awesome to see one last interaction between those two. But
Jeff, I don't know. Jeff, do you watch Doctor Who? I don't know anything that they're talking about.
I watched.
That's why I moved down here.
I watched right up until the beginning of the Peter Capaldi run. I got through.
I stopped on Matt Smith.
Oh, and I can.
Oh, I love the Matt Smith, Amy Pond stuff. Like that stuff is brilliant. I did watch the second, so I didn't realize that these were a part of a series. I just kept seeing commercials for them.
Yeah.
And I knew that, I kind of kept loose tabs throughout, but I haven't watched any of it. So I watched the second one. I haven't watched the first one. So yeah, it's weird picking up in the second one because they are part of a set.
Yeah.
So I know I missed out on some of the stuff. I have to go back and watch the first one. It's great though. It was great to dip my toe back into Doctor Who because it's such a specific style of sci-fi.
Yeah.
And I haven't been to it in like years, so it was nice to go back and revisit that.
Not even that, it's Russell T Davies and it's Tennant. each Doctor has their own kind of flair, like recipe or how they come out as a series. That's what got me into Doctor Who. So coming back to that again, I fell in love with watching Doctor Who. I just kind of almost didn't care anymore. And I know he's going to be gone. I might give the new one a chance, but seeing that bag, it brought me back to back in the like early aughts when I jumped into Doctor Who and I was watching that. And I was like, I remember why I fell in love with the series. So
yeah.
Nice, cool. All right. Well, before we go into our review, Jeff, I'm gonna put you on first.
Which
as
one
I
did
mentioned-
you want to open?
I want to open the Godzilla one. So
Okay.
Oh,
Well, real quick, I wanted to show this is the cover for the
oh, that's a different.
Batman.
Oh, okay, that's a
Whoa.
cool.
That's amazing.
Okay, so you said Godzilla, so I'll do Kong. So first off, I love that these are resealable. I've
Yeah.
never seen this
That
before.
is cool. Yeah.
That's very nice. So for
'cause
those
I
that
was-
don't know, while Jeff gets that open, these are gonna make noise, like a Hallmark card or something when you open it. That's what it's supposed to be. I don't know the gimmick. I hope it's worth what we paid for them. So
they're also connecting. Did you know that?
I know because I hadn't opened the thing. Wait, don't open the Godzilla one. I don't want.
I'm not
I don't want to see
going-
it till I open it. Don't put it away.
All right. Are you ready to
Spoilers.
look at Are you ready to look at this?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the Kong
Don't
one,
sass me, Jeff.
and then we're gonna open it. I don't know what kind of.
Hopefully it catches the sound.
Can you hear
I
that? I
don't-
don't know.
I don't know.
What the hell?
Hold on, let me. I think it's cut. We have the background reducer on. Hold on. All right, try it again.
There
Okay, it was reducing. I'll put it back in a second.
It's
So
very
that's
sensitive.
Kong. Yeah. So that's Kong. So let me do mine, and then then we can put them together, Jeff.
Oh my god.
So that's what the Godzilla one looks like. Blue, although I guess it's gonna be pink going forward. So here's the other half. Yeah, I think I've seen this cover, but like, let's see if you guys can hear it. Uh oh.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Wah, wah.
Oh no!
Break? No! No!
Oh no! I got. Oh wait,
Oh, there it is.
mine's not.
Wow, it's even the original.
When did they record me in the bathroom?
All right, hold on. Let me see. Oh wait.
Wow.
Hold on. I think I need to be on this side. And
Oh,
Jeff
here
needs
we
to be
go.
right
It's like
here.
Jenga.
All right.
I already know how I want this incorporated into comics now.
Wait. Oh,
Let's see.
oh, this is tough.
Other way. Other way.
I think we're doing it. We're doing it. We're doing
It's
it.
happening. You're
Oh
ripping
my
Batman
God.
apart.
Hey.
Yeah, look at that.
It's kind of. All right. Actually, that was well worth the 5 minutes.
How much did you pay for those?
Oh,
Too much.
$15 a piece.
Oh,
Whoa.
well, I get a 10% discount at Titan, so
I also get a well.
yeah. So that's the only reason I bought it because I was getting a discount. It's like I'm making money.
I want, whenever you get a World's Finest, when you open it, it says, Martha, why did you say that name?
Oh, yeah. I do wonder how many of these units they printed and then how many they sold. And then also what they're going for online. I guess I could check that part out now.
Yeah.
Well, I'd be curious to see what they
You
are.
better reseal it now then. So,
That's why I didn't open my other one.
gotcha. Yeah.
Is
kidding.
next year going to be the year of the Audible comic now that they've done this gag? Because I could see this spreading to other titles.
They should.
What do you want to hear? What
That's a good question.
I want to hear
the Batman?
Professor Xavier's a jerk when you open an X-Men.
That'd be
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah. I just want that as a ringtone.
I am Iron Man.
Can you hear the gunshots in the Batman? Like what's the
The pearls dropping into the water.
pearls?
Yeah.
So They're going for about $20 online. There's people out there that for some reason listed both of them for $100. I don't think that they'll get that. And then there's the people that have it like on an auction, so like it depends. But yeah, I don't know. It seems
I mean, give it a year. Give it a year, and we'll see. Where
yeah,
we
it seems like a very small niche market too.
Well, I mean, come on. Like when the Death of Superman first came out, I think at one point the comic went up to $100. Now you can barely sell it for 10.
I know. You can even buy a polybag one like for a decent price still. Like I think $15-$20 probably.
Really?
For one that's still sealed.
I would love the Spider-Man book to play the Ramones cover of Spider-Man when you open it.
Oh, that was our old intro song for the when we did the audio podcast. So I'm glad nobody ever came after us for that. All right. We're gonna talk. We're moving on to our review for the week. So VaultComics was nice enough to send us a copy of their upcoming comic book for this week, Beyond Real #1. Now, before I go into all the details and we start talking about it, one really cool thing that is happening here is that if you like free comics and your store order this, you can get this comic for free. Vault is doing their #1s for free. So they did that for our natural order, which we also talked about on the channel. And they're doing that for this. So if you shop order these, you just have to go and pick it up. And they should give it to you. There's probably going to be variants, which those aren't free. But like the main cover of Beyond Real, I believe I saw Vault said they printed about 130,000 copies of this book to do away for free. So hopefully this works out for them. I really like Vault. I like what they do.
I do too.
Yeah.
I like this book. This book is definitely.
Let's talk about the creative team before we get into that. This is going to be written by Zach Kaplan with artists. We have Fabiana Mascolo and Tony Fejzula. Colors by Jordi Belair and Fejzula color their own stuff. And then letters by Hassan Otsmane Elhau. And let me give you a quick synopsis, and then we'll get to talking about this book. This book, it's an artist discovery. When struggling artist June is injured in a severe car accident that leaves her boyfriend in a coma, she begins to experience strange visual phenomena. Soon, she's able to see that we are actually living in a computer simulation. June must set out on a journey of possibility and peril into the metaphysical layers of the simulation to reach the world's creator and save her true love from death. What a bonkers premise, first of all.
Yeah, because they could have just given her that without that quest part.
Right.
Yeah. And I didn't read the synopsis. I don't like reading the synopsis. Whenever we're going to do a book review, I don't like reading the synopsis before just to like go into the book without really knowing anything, because that's part of it, right? Does a book really tell me the story?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, another cool thing about this book, and let me confirm that's right. I think we're gonna have different artists come in at some point.
Oh, cool.
Which makes sense.
Oh, that does. Although I did really like this artist. So
yeah, in issue 3 we'll have Jorge Corona and Vincento Riccardi as well as the other artists. So, but let me start with Jeff. What did you think of this book?
Loved it. I love the artwork is just off the wall great, and then the colors to go along with it. I just think the artwork. This is one of those things where like the story is like, oh, I love the story, and then you're like, oh, but the artwork is also brilliant. So the whole book is just a beautiful book. It starts off as this kind of reflection on what is life. Are we in a simulation? That kind of stuff. And then when the hook of the book hits, I mean, it had me. I was like, oh, I wish I had picked this up in at the shop when I was there. Immediately is what I felt. So I just wrote a note to myself to go to the shop and try to see if there's still one available.
You're muted.
Because they're free and they're out there.
Josh,
Daniel,
what did you think?
There you go.
Oh, I really liked it. Like Jeff said, I think the art was great. It did have a couple of moments where I feel like some of the computer effects made deciphering what was happening difficult, but it's a very minor thing. I mean, it didn't really impact the story at all. The story is great. I think in our chat, sorry, I guess at my eye, I described it as like an existential Tron. Like she's like entering into this world, and I like the fact that, again, no spoilers, but this story could have gone in one direction. It was about somebody gaining abilities. And instead, it goes in a direction that's much more like, think, classic stories of people trying to save someone. And they set it up immediately. There is a risk involved for her doing this, and she does it anyway. And so I like that very organically, like the scales are set as we wrap up the issue. So it's good. It was really great.
Nice.
It's big and personal, both at the same time, too.
Yeah, that's a really, really good way to say it. Yeah.
Clay?
I loved it. I mean, I love the art matching with what's happening, so it really is critical to the story, because as she goes through that change, she sees things differently. So I love that piece. I kind of want to get into a spoiler area territory here.
Then let's go around everybody, and then we can do like a spoiler place, and then we'll go into that.
Yeah, because when we get near the end, there's things that like I'm already questioning and looking forward to in other issues.
Now, I guess as a note, we got the first 3 issues, but I asked everyone to only read the first one for now. So we'll probably come back and talk more about this, because I feel like we all got really hooked on the first one. But I liked it. I liked it a lot too. I really like, first of all, how you start with kind of like interpersonal story of these 2 characters that are just in a relationship, and even the banter back and forth between them is pretty fun. Like, it's pretty fun. And then you get to that page of the shocking reveal. Like, it's really, let me pull the art back up, because it's very well paced in that double spreadsheet, like where they're driving and kind of going through the road
shot,
and then you just see the big truck behind them. And then I was like, oh shit, what's about to happen now? So like, I did not expect it to go that way. Although I guess I kind of should have. Zach Kaplan's done some stuff like this where it's very like heavy concept. There was the other Vault book, Mindset, which was about this app that lets you control people and stuff like that. So there's a lot of stuff like that. I really, really enjoyed it. And like I said, the art is very cool. I like when she's getting her powers, or I guess when this stuff is glitching.
Well, pull that picture back up, because it looks like maybe it starts there, because like the car has glitches in it.
Yeah. Right. So, okay. Let's
get an echo.
Yeah.
Oh. Let me.
Is it me?
Might be. It might be me. Hold on. Let me put the background noise off again. Hello? Okay, I think the echo's gone. Okay. Yeah, I think it's because I took the noise reduction.
The
yeah.
comic covers.
Okay. All right. So Clay, let's we're gonna go into spoilers for issue number 1 of Beyond Real. So Clay, what's going on? What did you want to address?
Okay, so we get to the point in the book where she's starting to see the world as a simulation, and then she gets to like essentially like a control panel. And so there's a few things we get from this that I guess some way humans can access this, because she's able to get it. It is in English, so are the people that built the simulation also humans that speak English or have some sort of translator within the system? Like, there are things about just that setup is like, it talks to her in a way she'll understand, but it's almost like if you've ever played the game Zork, and I'm just talking to the old people now, you're just given a command and that's it. You're given a description and then like, what can you do? And actually this one's at least far enough along that it's asking, like, can it repair things?
See, I'm glad
So
you
it's
guys-
also not perfect. So it also must have people who are tech support for the simulation. So, like, there's other ideas that this first issue gives me about the simulations probably run by other humans, not aliens.
I'm glad you guys said it was a simulation. That's not what I got from it. I thought it was like she was kind of. I got it was computer-based world, but I thought it was more like she was opening up to like some kind of computer. Like
Yeah, I think this is like a Matrix type of thing.
Yeah,
Where,
yeah.
like,
See, I didn't
maybe
know
she's
that's what I
trying to
was
escape,
thinking.
So
I thought it was the simulation because of their discussion at the beginning of the book.
But
no,
I thought
see, I think that discussion is more like a high level. Like, we are all just in a simulation. This isn't
Yeah.
real.
I thought she
but-
was getting superpowers and somehow opened herself up to the world of an electronic world.
Yeah.
Like, it was like an alternate reality or something that she was going into, and now she's like inside a computer. I'm like, but
Okay,
then
well,
again-
we need the second and third issue so we
Yeah.
can figure this out.
Yeah, well, luckily we have them, so we don't have to wait. And we'll have the answer. But you guys make sure to go pick this up at the shop next week. Like I said, the first issue should be free unless you want to splurge on one of those nice variant covers. There are some really cool variant covers, which you'll see in
support
just
your
a
local
second.
store.
Yeah, support
Yes.
your local comic shops. Is there anything else on this one before we move on? Okay, well,
Nope.
cool. Thanks to VaultComics. Thanks to Zach. He sent us over the review copy, so we really appreciate that. Always fun to get to read comic books in advance. So here's the covers, just so y'all can see them.
Nice.
Yeah, some really dope stuff.
I love the one on the left. The one on the far left looks beautiful.
Yeah, with the shaded, like, or like the
Yeah.
other outline of the person.
Where the hell is everybody going?
Yeah, I don't know what the. I didn't
I
even
gotta
see.
bounce because I gotta go work a wrestling
Oh.
tournament. Where's everybody else going?
Okay, give me a second before you leave. I think Jeff just trying to fix his headphones.
Okay, yeah, I'll stay on until he gets back.
Cool.
Oh my
Yeah, I
God.
know. Kyle tells everyone, "Hey guys, I gotta head out at 11:30." Like, I guess we all do as well. So
Yeah, make sure to give me those two other. I want to read those two other issues so we can talk about
yeah,
it.
they're on
Alright,
our
cool.
folder. So,
Alright.
well, they're not here. Let's talk more about Godzilla -1.
Oh
Maybe
my God.
spoilery chat. We'll stop whenever they come back. But
Yeah,
dude, when he gets into the city like Ginza, ooh,
Yeah. well,
oh,
his blast, no other blast. I mean, if you watch Shin Godzilla, I know like even the Shin
oh,
Godzilla.
Josh is there. He can hear us.
But like, it's not spoiling anything. It just they amp up the Godzilla radioactive breath when it
Yeah.
goes. When he hits his target, the thing isn't like he just hits him. It erupts like a mushroom cloud, like an atomic
Really
bomb.
cool sound design too. Yeah,
Oh,
Josh, everyone just left at the same time, and that was very.
Oh,
rude.
sorry. Well, you guys keep talking. I do want to point out I just bought my Godzilla tickets for Monday at noon. So
Awesome. Hey, the cool thing about the winter break is that you get to go watch movies at the matinee. Time.
exactly. Yeah, that's my plan. There was only one other person. And I sat right behind them.
Oh,
kidding.
perfect.
I'm kidding. I sat like.
I got to book it out, but I got to head up to the high school.
All right.
All right, I'll catch you
Take care,
later.
Carl. Thank you.
I came
Oh,
back.
Well, everyone else gets back. Oh, here comes Jeff too. Hey,
Sorry
Jeff.
about that. Hey, my computer just completely was like, I don't want to work anymore.
It's funny because like Josh stepped away, so we took him out, and then Clay stepped away, and then Kyle had to go, and then he just stopped out of nowhere. So, all right.
All of a sudden, I was
well,
just like, everything just went blank, and I was like, no.
No.
okay. Well, Clay gets back. I'll start setting this up for our main topic. The comic, the beat. I don't know why I keep calling. I guess the website is Comics Beat.
Comics Beat. Yeah.
Yeah. Dean Simons wrote an article, called the Comixology Rest in Peace. I thought it was a fall and rise of Comixology, but that's kind of what it's about, right?
That is what it's about. Yeah.
As you guys may know or may not know, if you don't use Comixology, the Comixology app is really no more as of December 4th. They've merged it with the Kindle app. So we're gonna talk a little bit about some of the things that the article highlighted, and it's really good article. Go check it out. I don't usually read, period. But this was interesting enough. I think there's a lot of people that were upset by all the things happening at the company and then also in the app. So
Here,
Yeah, I was
I'm
gonna
going to
ask.
show you on my tablet. I still have it installed. So if I hit the Comixology app, watch this.
I mean, we could just see the blank screens. Oh, there it
Oh
is.
wait, it opened this time.
Yeah, there it is. It's telling you.
Oh.
It's telling you to move.
Last time it didn't open. It just like it went black and then just went back to the home screen. So
I wonder. It does ask you to move to Kindle. So, and I've checked the Kindle app. It looks about the same on the iPad.
yeah, it's just
But I know each device has different things. But Jeff, you were going to say something? Sorry.
I was gonna ask who uses, because I had Comixology for a while before Amazon, before the 4.0 rollout.
Mm.
I don't like reading comics digitally. I like having a thing, like I'm old, so whatever. But so then do you use like the Marvel Unlimited and like which apps do you guys use?
I prefer reading digitally, actually.
I mean, it saves a lot of space. I understand it. But...
Well, no. I mean, you see how many comics I buy, so it's definitely not a space saving thing. It's easier. I mean, I guess also now that we're doing a bunch of reviews, but even before that, I would prefer, like, I love that Marvel gives you a digital code that used to work with Comixology, and like it doesn't sync anymore. So like I can only look at a certain backlog, and then they stop like the merging.
right. Yeah.
So they dropped all that. So, but yeah, if I'm gonna revisit something, it makes it so much easier, and that's kind of where the article starts, right? The beginning of Comixology, the startup, it came at the perfect time because Apple had just rolled out the iPhone, and these guys were looking to see how can they capitalize on people wanting to read comics in a more accessible form, while still being able to be on the go, and that's kind of what drove this innovation. And then the release of the iPhone really helped, because they had revolutionized the guided view technology, which kind of takes you through the page. It's a tour of the page as they described it, and then it just zooms in and out for you, and it does all the things that make it a lot easier for you to, like, with just a phone in your hand, to like read a comic book, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to, like having to have a full device or be pinching in and zooming out. So like they kind of revolutionized all that. So it came at the perfect time. And it feels like a lot of the things really aligned with Comixology, because once they had a relaunch where, like, I believe the article mentions it was like they were gonna focus, like they had just done like a big massive overhaul of their system, and that's when the iPad came out. So like now they could also have the like, you could read your comics in a full format. You could read, like it was more of the same size experience. So like it really feels like a lot of the things just went very right for this company. Now know a few people that worked at Comixology. My buddy Mike from the
Huh.
books, he used to work at Comixology.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's interesting.
And then when the layoffs happened, I believe he had already moved over to a different team, so he wasn't fully affected by that. And I mean, I don't know. That's not my story to tell, but yeah, that I just, I know a few people that work with Mike, because through Mike I met a bunch of people that also worked at Comixology, through the layoffs and stuff. But and that's kind of when 4.0 kicked off, and that's where a lot of people feel like it's the point where, like, because it all happened at the same time, right? I guess the one thing I didn't mention, Amazon acquired Comixology in 2014 because Amazon's Kindle comics app sucked ass. So when a company can't make a product work, they do usually is they just acquire a company that's doing it better, and that's just capitalism, and it sucks.
But what's
That's,
so
that's the
weird?
real villain of the story.
Yeah, but what's so weird about that is because I was a devoted Comixology user for years and years, and in fact, Danny, you know this, like Comixology, because you could subscribe to new releases in it, got me back into reading new releases.
Yep.
I had not been doing that for a very long time, and when 4.0 rolled out, it felt like a punch to the face, because it was such a terrible app, and that it was like, why would you acquire a company like Comixology that's doing everything better than your native app, and then shoehorn comics reading into a reskinned version of your native app, which is what the 4.0 version was.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was awful. It was such an awful experience. And that's when I bounced. I'm like, I'm not doing this anymore. Right.
Mm-hmm.
The writing's on the wall. So I wasn't surprised when the news came out that the app was going away, but reading comics is fundamentally different than reading ebooks.
Yep.
And trying to fit that into the Kindle app just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, no, I think part of the success, and the article goes into a lot of detail about this, a lot of the success of Comixology was, first of all, they were really focused on collaborating with the publishers. So they helped at some point, like every publisher, I think, had their own Comixology kind of clone app, right? Like DC had their own thing, Marvel had their own thing, Dark Horse, Image. Like,
but I don't think Dark Horses was reskinned. I could be wrong.
Maybe not. Yeah, I don't know. I think the article doesn't mention Dark Horse, but they weren't as robust as Comixology, but they were they're very similar, right? I think the guided view technology, which I remember talking to some people don't like guided view. I love guided view.
See, I'm not a fan of guided view, but here's the other weird thing that I don't know if they've announced if that's technology is going to come to this new Kindle experience, but in the comic scholarship world, guided view is talked about a lot. Like, that's how revolutionary it was.
Yeah.
I could pull 3 books off my shelf from comic scholars talking about guided view. I mean, that's how important it is.
It makes it more accessible because there's a lot of, viewer impaired readers or just for like any kind of purpose that you would need an app to kind of zoom in for you where you can't. It does that for you. The other thing is, of course, the platform kept getting more robust as it went on before the acquisition. And then the other thing was the Comixology Submit program, which gave a lot of indie creators access to a larger audience. And it's kind of a curated list of like, oh, these are all, these are cool comics that are being done in a very small scale.
It's so funny, like the reach and the opportunity that had. Just as a weird anecdote, when I was at the last Comic Studies Society conference, which was in Denton, they invited a bunch of local creators to like set up tables and stuff. And I was walking along, and on one of the tables was a book that I had bought on the Comixology Indie app. I didn't know the creator was in the area. I'd never met her, but I saw the book and I'm like, oh my God, you wrote and drew that. I love that book. It was great, and I got to like meet her and talk to her. I wouldn't have had that opportunity without Comixology, really, so.
And to Josh's earlier point, like even the services as being able to put together a pull list service or having the subscription where sometimes you forget that books are coming out. So the app would be very good about reminding you like, hey, you're reading this. Maybe you should want to check this out or whatever. Or the story continues here or whatever the case may be. So like all those things. And I feel like once the acquisition happened, and I have my theory on the acquisition is that Amazon just wanted the guided view. Like the rights.
I wouldn't get it. Yeah.
Because the technology was so innovative. And that's kind of how it works, right? If you can't build it, then just go buy it from somebody that already built it.
Does their Kindle reader have a guided view now?
I'm looking at it, and I gotta say, I just filtered by my comics and manga, and it only shows 55 titles, and I know I have way more than that in my Comixology library. So it's like, where the fuck is all the rest of my stuff? But here, let me try. So I'm gonna open.
That's the other thing. It is almost impossible to read on a web browser.
Yeah.
Through Comixology or even Kindle now, I guess. It just doesn't feel as natural.
I think Danny's right. Is that because the article does mention that so Amazon's Kindle reader was killing it with just regular books. Because those are easily that's easy. You just read that. But we're having problems with their graphic novels and stuff like that, getting it to work over that. So yeah, I 100% think they wanted the whatever. It's
okay,
called, Slow read
Oh.
or whatever it's called.
Sorry, Jeff.
No,
All right, so I've opened. I gotta hold this against my face because I can't do it otherwise. All right, I have opened The Rocketeer, and it will go into guided view, but not by default, which I'm okay with. But
See, on the tablets is not as bad. I think the worst part of it is on the, because what is that? What tablet is that?
it's Kindle Max 11.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I rarely had any like big issues on my iPad where I would be like, oh, this is an unreadable experience. It was
on my phone.
It was usually on like the queue. Yeah, I'll get to you, Clay, in a second. But like it was usually more about like things maybe not fully syncing over, especially after the launch of 4.0.
Yeah,
there.
My whole library is not there anymore, apparently, and it's
Also
deeply concerning.
After the acquisition, Amazon stopped allowing readers to buy stuff through the app on iPhone or on Apple devices because Apple
They
takes
did the same
30% of any purchases, and
Yep.
I think eventually Android and other operating systems follow suit. So yeah, they stopped allowing people just because they didn't want, which makes it a lot less accessible and a lot less flexible, right?
Right.
Check this out. So I'm on the Kindle app on my phone. Here, if I go to my library and my comics and manga, I have 1,145.
Oh, nice. They are unlocked.
So what is happening on their own device with their own app that it won't access all my comics?
What's the disconnect, right? So
yeah, exactly.
Clay, you wanna chime in here, like on your experience with Comixology and stuff?
Yeah, it sucks. I mean, it just.
but did it always like? What about
no? When it was
yeah.
just Comixology, it was fine. It was when they started to spin off into the other things. And then have any of y'all lost comics?
Yes.
Okay. Like I had a Die Hard series that I guess maybe the rights weren't maintained, and so I lost that comic altogether. You know, so I don't think the digital purchases are worth it because you only own them. You only own them as much as they have the license to have them digitally available to you.
Right.
So and plus they can also alter things, which I don't care for either. So, like I went and tried to pull up mine. Mine's, you know, it's a mishmash with my comics and then books that I have too. So, you have the option to say comics and manga, but then it's just to pitch you like everything's like Kindle Unlimited. Like that's their, you know, solve all. And that's probably good for some people who maybe don't have access to a local comic shop or bookstore. Right. And so they can consume as much as possible. But, you know, it was neat when Comixology dropped because it was like fans creating an app for fans. And then it got like kind of separate where Marvel was like, hey, we have our app, and then DC had their app, and then their apps got phased out.
Yeah.
And so I for a year, I mean, I had problems redeeming on the Marvel app. It was a constant headache. They've kind of fixed theirs now, but pull it back up, Josh.
Sorry. I'm on my phone in the Kindle app, and again, it's guided views available, but not by default, right? Which again, I'm not against, but I feel like it should know the device. So if I'm on a tablet, maybe default to the full page. And if I'm on a phone, default to the guided view.
Yeah,
right.
That'd just be good UI experience, really.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to me, you know, I would rather like go to get a library than pay for something that I may lose later. Because if I get the library experience and read it and I want to buy it and revisit it, then I can go to a local comic shop and do that. I don't feel like Amazon did anything to improve anything in the comics industry at all. They, in fact, more wrecked it. I'm not a big fan of Amazon. I don't pay for any of their movies. I don't pay for their service anymore. That's kind of where we're at. We're seeing, you know, the big guys gobble up the small business, even if the small business was Comixology that had like less than 500 people working for them at the most.
Right, but here's the interesting thing, and I would love to see some data on this, because the shift, the shoehorning of this into Kindle was so bad that, like, anecdotally, I left it, and it drove me back to my local comic store buying books in person. So I actually wonder how much Amazon has shot themselves in the foot with this move. And it's benefiting, it's doing the opposite of what they did with the book market. It's hopefully benefiting the local comic book stores by sending more people there to get their books, because Comixology was the digital default, right? And so I would love in like a year or two to see charts of comic sales at local stores.
And I remember when you used to redeem, you would say, like, where did you buy this at? So that your local comic shop like had like numbers within the publishing of like, hey, you know, we've got like 50% of people redeeming their comics from Zeus Comics and from Urban Legends, you know, to digital. So maybe, you know, play with that number and look at what they can do to improve their sales. But I mean, as digital got worse, and then I eventually tried Marvel Unlimited, which was a big old piece of shit for me. Like it never worked for me. I don't know who actually does the guided view, because it was done so terribly in any of the things that I tried to read. So to me, Marvel Unlimited was never worth it. So why would I get Kindle Unlimited? You know, right. I'm more of a Marvel zombie. It would give me a chance to dip into some other books, but in the end, I know what I would be subscribing for. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is the digital comics world now sort of like just like regular streaming, where you go like there's no middle thing anymore. So you got to go to Marvel Unlimited, you got to go to DC. Image, does Image have their own thing, I'm assuming?
Well, that's a great segue, Jeff, for what I was going to bring up. So yes, we do have what a professional. Of course, we do have, so Marvel and DC do have their subscription services, but there are a few alternatives that I found. An article mentions these. So this is the Omnibus app, and now I haven't used these, so maybe we'll do a follow-up show where maybe we'll find somebody that has used them and come in here, or maybe I'll
but see what it's doing right there. That is the one feature from Comixology I missed the most. To me, the greatest feature of Comixology was I could go in and just look at a publisher's page.
Yeah.
Right. So I would go and be like, here's Fantagraphics and here's everything that they've released. And I loved that. And that never translated over to the Kindle.
And Amazon does that on their website, but it's so buried deep within of their own, of throwing their own shit on there. And then the other alternative is the Global Comics app. So I don't think they have an extra. I think this is just an app. Like I don't think they have a website.
All right.
Like Omnibus does. But I think this one is more of a subscription service, if I'm not mistaken. But they also, both of these offer alternatives for publishing and stuff, and they're always signing up. Like there's some publishers here I've never even heard of before, so like really cool. And then also you can see some of the larger indie publishers. At least I think Marvel and DC are just going to stick with their own service because it makes sense for them.
I think it does. But you know what I would really like to see, and I think now is the time for it to happen. I'm a big fan of the service Libro.fm, and it's an audiobook service that's a direct competitor of Audible. But the cool thing they do is when you sign up to it, you can pick a local independent bookstore to partner with. And then when you buy audiobooks on them, it gives some of the funds back to support that local bookstore. We need a digital comics app for friendly local comic shops, right? So it's like if you buy the digital app, you're still supporting it, right? So for instance, if I go to Jeff's store and I buy a comic there, maybe it gives me a discount for the digital copy on the app, or vice versa. If I choose Jeff's store in the app and I buy the digital copy, maybe a portion of the funds go to them, right? Like, and in particular with the way that the direct market supply chain, I just fucking forgot the term for it. Like Diamond and all these distributors, how that's fracturing. I feel like this is between that and the end of Comixology. This is the moment for like shops to partner with like app makers, like maybe one of those two that currently exists, or maybe they, you know, make their own. But like, it's such an interesting model because I want to support both. You know, I want to support my local comic shop, but I also sometimes want digital comics. It'd be great if there was some sort of like synchronicity between them. So,
you know, I do think that this. So there was another discussion in our chat and our Discord chat between the boys about the comic shop owner that went viral earlier this week. About
this is boy stuff. You posted that, Jeff.
I do think these are two tangible, like these are connected things a little bit, because you know we are talking about the market, and I put it in the chat because I just Googled like how are comic book sales, and they're all up, like they're all projected to just keep shooting up.
That's awesome.
And
to the moon,
so
baby.
it does make me wonder where those sales are coming from, because if they were digital, like this could hurt that. But it also does make me think that, you know, this is a good time for comic book shops to kind of reassess what they are about. And I mean, the numbers are there. Like, people want to buy the comics. It's just, you know, how are you going to get those customers into your store?
I'm also curious, like, if this was, you know, we talked about like how bad Amazon has handled this, that not only maybe it pushed people to go to comic shops, but Humble Bundle has offered a ton of comics DRM free.
That's
how big has that gotten? Because it gives you the opportunity to collect things like Hellboy, you know.
Yeah, the article
just
touches
sample
on
a ton of image books.
That's a really good point. Yeah,
the article touches definitely on DRM free comics, which a lot, like, less and less publishers are doing it because, I don't know, greed or whatever.
Yeah, because they think it's I mean, you know, it does allow you to share it with your friends and do stuff like that and pirate, you know, the hell out of them. But like, I'm curious, what are the pirating numbers? Like, do they even have an idea? Because it's easy to find these sites. They're not like hidden.
They're not hiding it. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Well, and also, I mean, there is I believe there is so much data that the pearl clutching about DRM free stuff is just false, right? Because again, if I give you a PDF from a Humble Bundle, the chances are better that if you like what you read, you're going to go buy it, right? I mean, it just, and that, I mean, and this goes back to the dawn of comics in the 40s and the 50s. It was notorious that kids would share comics between each other, right?
Yeah.
Passing them along. And that only helped sales. It didn't hurt sales, right? It helped them. So,
well, isn't that where distillery comes in? Because isn't their business model, it's a blockchain. So essentially, when you buy a comic from them, granted, I still feel like if they're going to be in the comic business, they need to print comic size. They're, you know, they have everything I've seen is the big books. Are they printing anything comic size?
No, it's all magazine size.
You know, I mean, it's great for the art.
Box.
Right.
Yeah. Now I have to buy a magazine rack.
But you're also getting like full-size jock art. So it's and him doing his own thing, which is amazing.
Well, I realize the distillery is like the article said that some of the people behind distillery were the people behind
Chip Mosher, who was part of the Comixology submit program, the indie program. So yeah, you're right. The article definitely does go into that. This was one of the alternatives. The other thing I wanted to share, and we talk about this all the time, Hoopla is a fantastic alternative.
Yeah, absolutely.
That works with, you know, you pay taxes probably, and that funds your local library.
I'm talking to you, Wesley Snipes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, now you can't use Hoopla, Wesley Snipes. I guess it depends, right? Because I think libraries are funded by our property tax. I don't know. Texas is weird with taxes, and because there's no state income tax. Anyways, I'm not an expert on that. But what I do,
more about that
what I am an expert
started
on
Texas government.
Oh, but yeah, they can't even.
No.
Never mind.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, it's really cool. Like, I mean, this works with your full. This is for a full library, so you can get more than comics. But that's mainly what I use it for. So it's a great alternative. And to you guys' point, like, I think I've never been like, oh, I'm gonna buy this comic digitally. I don't ever want to have it physically, especially if I like it. If I like it, then I'm even gonna chase down the collection, right? So like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
To
I
the
have
other
stuff I
news-
bought as singles, then as trades, then as hardbacks. I mean,
Miracle
like, how many
Man.
Starman books do I got to own? All of them,
Right.
apparently.
But
All of them.
I do think that I do think there's some people out there that do just digital, like straight up digital, and they always get
Right.
bitten. Like I think the PlayStation Network just announced that they were
Yeah.
wiping
Yeah.
everybody's like movies
And-
that they bought.
Well, that's a Zaslav thing because it's only Discover content.
Discovery.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, because the
Yeah.
dude's a dick. I don't know what his
Yeah.
deal.
So
is.
if you watched Mythbusters and really enjoyed it, and you bought it so you'd have it on your PlayStation, it's gonna
gone.
disappear. So that's another downside of digital purchasing.
A very earnest question for Mr. David Saslov. Who hurt you?
All right, now that you got to clip and post on its own. That's perfect. And
I'll
tag.
pull it. I'll pull it.
All right. So yeah, is there any other final thoughts? So I did want to mention. I did.
You know how
out
they
to
have
some
those.
people.
Sorry, Daniel. I was just saying. You know how they have
Go
those
ahead.
like invite your 5 people to your guest dinner. I'd be like, let's invite David Zaslav and Michael Eisner and like just some of the other heads.
David,
of
come on the
studios.
show. Come on the show. We'll hear your side of the story.
And then you serve them all red cat mushrooms.
That's right.
Yeah.
Or-
I pull the Julia. Is it the what's her name? The Julia Childs. She went to Congress to fund for PBS. She made everybody this like beautiful meal, and then she was like, "We would not be able to do this without PBS." It was kind
and
of
it was poison.
Oh, that's
They all
awesome.
died.
yeah. And it was poisoned.
So yeah, shout out to my buddy Jeff, because I asked in a few discords that I'm part of, like, when did Comixology die for you? Jeff mentioned that when the layoffs happened, because that's affecting like people's livelihoods, right? Who cares if I can't read my stupid comics? Like, you are affecting somebody's livelihood and their means of income. So and then Ricardo, yeah, he's the one that mentioned Omnibus and Global Comics. So maybe we'll try them out, because there are people that are digital only readers and they don't have many alternatives, which kind of sucks. So hopefully these apps pan out. I really don't need another one. I'm very lucky. We're very lucky that we get a lot of previews for stuff that we can read digitally. But I know a lot of people don't have that luxury. So start a podcast, work on it for a long, long time, and then reach out to publishers. That's the long game alternative.
Yeah, that's
I am only doing this. Yeah, we're only doing this podcast so that we can get free comic book previews. Marvel, send us preview for your comics. Come on.
Hey, if you had told 12-year-old me that at some point in my life I'd be getting free preview copies of comics, I'd been like, "That's a thing?
That's crazy. That is
I am
crazy.
here for it."
Me too.
Hey, and if Hasbro wants to send us stuff, please.
Yeah,
We
please.
will
I
take
mean,
anything.
Oh, we will shell out. Zaslav, send us stuff, and then we'll talk about Warner Brothers.
You need somebody to go see Aquaman early?
Oh, dude, I'll watch the shit out of it early. Is it bad? Is it bad? Who cares? I don't think it's gonna be bad though.
I'm still high on indie.
I just want to see Batgirl. Come on.
Yeah, I would love to see Batgirl.
I feel like that's going to hit the net at some point. I feel like that'll eventually be torn.
It's got to. I'm glad the fan uproar saved the Looney Tunes movie. I'm really, really hyped for that. I love me some classic Looney Tunes, and it sounds like it's going to be a good time.
Who would have thought
Did somebody pick it up?
To bat? I think I was picking it up. Maybe I think that's the last thing I saw on that.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was based off the one-page New Yorker comedy pieces they do. It is based off a New Yorker one-page, like Wile E. Coyote versus Acme.
Oh, cool.
I'll track it down. Hang on.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Any closing thoughts on the Comixology thing matter? Yep.
Don't support Amazon for anything.
Yeah.
This is definitely Amazon's fault. That's
for sure.
I think Amazon bought them. They were like, we want this proprietary technology. They realized it was going to be very difficult to incorporate that with that code with their code, and they just washed their hands of it. I did try to look up to see how much they paid for Comixology, and it was an undisclosed amount.
Oh, was it? I thought the article mentioned the figure.
Oh, yeah, I thought there was.
I think that's what it was worth. Maybe they mentioned what it was worth. It was like a 1.5 billion business. I don't remember. Let me see.
Just as I was just scrolling through the internet, I mean, they may have, but whatever article.
Oh, never mind. The figure was for Amazon's empire of 1.52 trillion. Which is a number that I can't even fathom. So, cool.
And we still can't pay our delivery drivers.
Hey, are you guys in a hurry?
I mean, not super
10
hurry.
minutes? 10 minutes?
I got about 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Because they announced a Blade game at the...
I heard about that. Didn't you post that link, Clay? Is that you?
What?
To the Blade game? The Blade game trailer? Yeah.
All right. So how about to close out the show, we'll watch the Blade game real quick. Oh, hold on.
I thought it was just an announcement of the Blade game. It's not the Blade game. Because it's in development.
Oh, there's a trailer for it.
All right. Hey, I still want to know where the fuck our Indiana Jones game is. They announced that years ago.
Is that the 2D scroller?
No. It was like a brand new
Commodore.
No, it's like a brand new and I want to say by the people that did like Far Cry or
Fargo.
E.T. that poor guy. He's gotten so much shit over the years.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I didn't watch a lot of the Games Awards, but I saw that they announced a few things, and it's really just not one big commercial for their game. So, but I like commercials sometimes. So let's take a look at the announcement trailer for Marvel's Blade. Where's the Blade movie trailer? That's what I want to know. All right, let's check it out. And let me know if you guys can hear it.
Yeah. Oh, it's Bethesda. Jeez. Oh, okay. Where'd they go with that?
It's like 30 seconds of logos and then...
Votre attention. Le soleil est sur le point de se coucher. Tous les citoyens sont priés de se mettre à l'abri en intérieur jusqu'à l'aube.
I don't know what this language is.
The sun is currently setting. All citizens are required to shelter indoors.
Turn that shit up. Relax, man. I don't bite.
Oh.
Lock up tight now. Night's just getting started.
Nice.
Oh,
who's
man,
doing the voice?
I don't know. Let's see.
I'm gonna IMDb it.
Eric Brooks is the name of Blade, right? Yeah. So that's. I don't see. I don't see any credits on the comments here.
I wonder if they just had an actor do the preview part.
It could be.
Probably.
It looks great. I mean, listen, if the movie's gonna look anything like that, I'm super on board. But that was very cool. So, all right.
Do you think they'll have a part where you have to ice skate uphill?
Yes.
That's right. Only if you're playing motherfucker mode.
and they have to have like a blood shower rave.
Oh yeah.
You know, I will say the voice actor of Blade in the Midnight Suns game is really good, and I could totally see if they just brought that actor over, because he's great. He's fantastic.
Oh, okay. You know, I think remaking Blade is going to be one of the tougher ones because I feel like a lot of people really like that first Blade movie.
Yeah.
Say what you will about the other
Yeah.
ones, but like the first one's pretty fucking good, right?
I wonder if they're
It's
gonna
great. It's Del Toro,
It's Trinity
man.
that where the wheels fall off.
where the wheels fall off. I wonder if they're gonna do the smart thing that they did with Spider-Man, and they're gonna do with FF, which is we're not gonna rehash the origin. Let's just people know who the character is. We're just gonna go with our take on it. So
Hey, you know what? And if you don't know, come check out our video because we'll probably make one on the origin of
exactly.
So, and if we didn't, 10,000 other people on YouTube did. So, okay, let's move on to recommendations to close out the show. Why don't we go, Josh? What do you got for us?
All right, let me share my screen real quick. So mine, and I kind of hinted at it earlier, is, hang on, let me switch over. So a new game came out 2 days ago, and it is set in the Warhammer 40K universe. It's called Rogue Trader. I have been hyped for this game, and I actually pre-ordered it directly from them because it's by the same studio that did the last 2 Pathfinder games. So if you like the Pathfinder games, and I do, so Kingmaker and Wrath of the Righteous, it's that team, but now set in the Warhammer 40K universe. It's the first classic RPG game, video game, ever to come out set in the Warhammer universe, which is wild to think about. When we're done today, I plan to go start playing it. So I played through a beta version because I pre-ordered it I stopped when you get through kind of like the opening story. I stopped there because I didn't want to kind of press on. So I'm really hyped to play it. Oh man, I'm so excited for this. I'm not a giant Warhammer fan, but kind of like Clay, I'm
Dabble.
Yeah, or I'm Warhammer curious. Let's put it that way. So
hey now. You know what? We accept all keys here.
So anyway, so we'll see. Yeah, that's my rec is to go check that out. So
Clay, oh my goodness, what do you got?
Oh, I just had, I mean, it may be the documentary of the year for me. It's definitely one that I will never forget because there are some images that are burned into my brain from the Love Has Won, the Cult of Mother God documentary that's on Netflix.
Man,
that with the Twin Flame documentary, you should never fall into a cult. Once you watch these, you should be able to defeat a cult yourself. But this one opens up as a horror movie and ends in full-on body horror. So if you love that kind of weird, I really recommend it.
I almost want my recommendation to be not do that. My recommendation, I almost want my recommendation to be do not listen.
Do not do that.
Jeff, what do you got?
I would like to reiterate that the Doctor Who specials, well, no, I haven't seen the first one. The second one was great. It was great to revisit those characters.
You can watch them out of order?
Yeah, I was going to say. That's
intriguing. Yeah, I think I just clicked on the first one. I didn't realize there were 3 of them. So the first one that I think is Disney Plus presented to me was the second one. So and I just clicked on the thing. Yeah, exactly. Like way to recommend the second one first.
Right.
And about 10 minutes into the episode, I was like, I feel like I missed something. I backed out and then realized there was an episode before the one, but I just kept on with the second episode because I was having a good time anyway. The other thing I came across this week was, and I'd seen this a long time ago, but there's a short called George Lucas in Love. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this.
Yeah.
Oh God, ages ago.
Yeah, it was like a mid-90s like student short film, I guess. I don't know what it was made for, but it's basically somebody has taken George Lucas and kind of put them into the plot of Shakespeare in Love. So it kind of hits all the points of the movie Shakespeare in Love, but with George Lucas, where he's kind of writing Star Wars and just the world around him kind of and how it inspires that while he's in college. But I hadn't seen it since like the mid 90s, and it's on YouTube. You can look it up. But it's a great revisit. If you haven't seen it, I suggest going to watch it. It's only like maybe 10 minutes long, if that. But it's super funny. Super funny.
Okay, cool. Well, before I give you my recommendation, let me talk about a few things that we're doing on the channel. So on Sundays, you can check out all our comic reviews in like 3 large videos. So we do one for DC, then we do one for all the Marvel videos, and then we do one for all the indie videos. So those are, if you just want to have me talking and rambling in the background, check those out. Also, we re-released our Blue Beetle review. Like I cut it down and added some try to make it nice and fancy. So if you just want to watch the trailer review, also re-released our bracket fight. I cut it down because there's a part in the middle where we took a break. So we've been doing that. So if you enjoy the live show, but also don't want to see us sit around waiting for everybody to get back to their seat because they all leave at the same time. Especially, it was funny, Clay, you left. Kyle had to leave at that time. Everyone else stepped away at the same time. And well, Jeff didn't step away. He had computer issues, but I was like, oh my God, it's happening again. So go check that out. Now, my actual recommendation. So last week, and let me show you guys, I got to produce an episode of I Read Comic Books where we talked to Ed Brubaker about his upcoming book.
So jealous.
His new book is on our folder, so if y'all want to check it out, we can talk about it later on.
Nice.
I've read about half of it. I really, really enjoyed it. But yeah, I got to talk to it. Well, I didn't talk much to Ed Brubaker. It was mainly Paul and Mike. But yeah, go check that episode out. And then tomorrow night at 7 Central on Twitch, I'll be going live for our next episode of I Read Comic Books with Mike and Brian. So we're gonna be live on Twitch. So go check that out. Go check out I Read Comic Books. We're preparing a lot of really fun stuff also for 2024. So on top of this, and then there's one last project that I have hidden that may come to fruition next year. We'll see. But yeah, I just really like making content for people, and hopefully you guys are enjoying that. So
I may have a new show that'll be on the channel as well in the next year.
Oh, I love to hear about things live. It's funny. So I love when Clay posts a video on the channel that he's been working on that I don't even know that he's been working on.
Yeah.
Like you did the Taylor Swift video a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I was gonna post something, and then I was like, "What the hell is this?" And then I watched it. Or what was the one that you changed the song, the trailer, Fall Guy?
Fall Guy, yeah.
Oh, Fall Guy, yeah.
So like every once in a while you'll see a video from Clay, and I'm like, where the hell did this come from? So it's nice.
I'm talking with my friend Sabrina, who has worked in comics, and she's like worked for Howard Chankin, and she's doing her own comic. We started talking about some Doom Patrol, and I think we're going to revisit the entire run of Doom Patrol next year. It's just a matter of scheduling, and we'll start with the first arc and go from there.
That sounds super rad.
That is
fantastic. All right. Does anybody have anything else before I close out the show? No? All right. We're gonna then let me hit. All right, I'm ready. So thanks everybody for watching. Leonard Kim in the chat. Thanks for giving us some of your thoughts. And anybody that's watching this later on, thank you. Make sure to share, like, subscribe, all that stuff. And thanks for watching, everyone. Bye-bye.
The most important thing in life will always be the people in this room. Right here. Right now.
I don't see an out.
Salute me, familia.
Salute. Thanks everyone for watching.
Peter loves you.
Oh yeah. Clay.
Hail Bebo.
Josh.
Simon Center, get the fuck out.